The federal government, through its Ministry of Environment, recently launched a national roadmap for plastics, acknowledging and emphasizing the critical challenge of plastic waste management in the country. The silver lining in this dark cloud is that it also presents a significant opportunity to harness circular economy within plastic waste management, which could bring about job creation and sprout a blossoming micro, small and medium-scale enterprise, which can invariably attract private sector investment, even direct foreign investment through provision of infrastructure for plastic waste recovery and recycling at the same time, to protect the environment by combating plastic pollution. This initiative has led to the creation of a Nigerian National Plastic Action Partnership dedicated to designing and implementing sustainable solutions to tackle the challenge of plastic waste pollution in every of its phases and to accelerate the nation's transition to circular economy. Although Lagos has started holding talks in this direction, it is yet to become a full-fledged enterprise. On Panorama today, we are going to be discussing circular economy in waste management, how it can create jobs and stimulate small and medium-scale enterprises. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. I am Adeola Komiakere. Thank you for joining us. Remember, in a digital age where security meets innovation, a new chapter unfolds at the heart of Nigeria's borders. A select group of Nigerian Immigration Service officers stand ready to shape the future of border control. Victor Azu reports that the message of the Minister of Interior was on vigilance, duty, and the promise of a safer tomorrow.
Selected from more than 200 candidates, these officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service have undergone rigorous training in API PNR technology, advanced passenger information and passenger name record, that is. It's a system that analyzes data from travelers before they even set foot in the country, helping to identify potential risks and improve border management.
The large responsibility is on you now. The confidence that's been given to you, you have to justify it.
From digital gates in Abuja to bus imports of Lagos, the Command and Control Center monitors every move. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunjojo, is therefore calling on the personnel to be alert, as each data point is a story, a potential threat, or a chance to make travel safer.
This is a scheme where there is no margin for error. This is a scheme where you cannot guesswork. This is a scheme where you have to be mentally alert and you have to be ready to sacrifice all for the sake of our fatherland.
As the nation's security landscape evolves, these officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service stand as the vanguard of a new era where data is the key and vigilance is the watchword. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
And reports just reaching us says President Bola Tinubu launches emblem appeal of the 2024 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration, and he reiterates commitment to welfare of men and women of the armed forces. Details will come in our subsequent bulletins. Moving on now, Member House of Representatives Alexander Ikweche has expressed regret and apologies to the National Assembly and the Inspector General of Police over what he calls an unfortunate exchange that led to allegedly assaulting an e-hailing cab driver, Stephen Abuja. In a statement on his Instagram page, Alexander Ikweche notes that his remarks and actions do not reflect acceptable values both as a citizen and as a representative of the people, and that alternative dispute resolution methods have been explored with the taxi driver. Recall that the House of Representatives in an earlier statement frowned at the incident, emphasizing that any behavior from a lawmaker that falls short of ethical standards is a matter of concern to the 10th Assembly. And moving on now, ahead of Nigeria-Morocco Business Week, public and private sector delegation from Nigeria have commenced courting partners from Morocco to explore investment opportunities as they look to the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement for leverage. Musa Abubakar reports.
As a joint public and private sector delegation from Nigeria meeting their Moroccan counterparts from the Ministry of Energy Transition and Federation of Metallurgical Industries, Mechanical and Electrochemical, Morocco's expertise in power and renewable energy, as well as steel and mining development, makes them strategic partner for Nigeria as both countries explore areas of investment and partnerships for inclusive growth and development.
First of all, getting your steel sector in place, you can do basically nothing as it concerns industry. So that is why we're looking at it seriously, and we're looking up to Morocco as a strategic partner. We intend to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. I think related to steel and metals recycling is definitely very important for us. And all the areas around shipbuilding and making sure that we're having more and more green ship lane.
Push our collaboration in this sector. Yeah. Thank you.
Beyond the handshake and smiles, there's some sort of optimism that business can be done between the two countries in the area of steel development, irrigation, and capacity building, as Nigeria seeks to explore the opportunities in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, as well as seeks to diversify our economy. From Morocco, I was Abuja, NTA News.
The people of Biseni community in Yenagua local government area of Bayelsa State are soliciting for urgent intervention to assist them contend with the ravaging flood situation facing them as they are already counting losses. Darius Akumoye, who responded to a distress call and visited the community, has the situation report.
Biseni community is one of the Bayelsa State border community with River States. This community, among other communities in Bayelsa State, is presently being challenged by the devastating effect of flood. A visit to the oil-rich community shows the impact of the flood to both human, farmland, access roads and houses. The flood investigation reveals is largely as a result of the overflow of the River Niger from the Mbiama axis, forcing natives and non-natives to flee from the community, while others have taken refuge by the roadside. His Royal Highness King Agule Debekeme is also affected by the natural disasters displacements.
Over the years, we have suffered this natural flood disaster that has been salvaging this kingdom annually. And we've cried to the government, but I know this is above within the state because it is a natural disaster. We want the federal government, state, to come and prepare an IDP camp area where they will dredge. At least we need about 10 various places where they will dredge it so high and provide everything. So when we have this type of experience next year, they will just move them to that camp.
Since the farmlands were equally not spared, most of the farmers who smartly enough hurriedly harvested their crops, while a major chunk of the produce has been washed away.
What is in my house? We cannot sleep but mosquitoes, and otherwise even our legs are getting rotten.
Flood don't pursue me. Now I want to die. My legs themselves they pain me. Everybody they pain me so. I definitely inside the water like this.
It has affected us mentally and otherwise. You can see both little children, adults, every person just hanging around the tag road.
But I've not eaten since morning. I just want to make sure that I don't lost my crops. So the flood, I don't know how we can come out of this. People are complaining, federal government. I don't know if they are hearing us.
Already, the community can only be accessed through canoe, and the cost of commodities have increased. In Yenegoa, Doris Akomoye, NTA News.
Help really needs to get there fast and quick. Now let's take a break. Panorama continues shortly. Thank you for staying with us. Promoting advanced recycling that can drive demand for plastic waste as a value feedstock is imperative, particularly as plastic waste offers incentives for circular economy. Diana Ajale, who interacted with some environmentalists and concerned stakeholders in Lagos, completes the report.
Waste is never a waste until we waste it. This quote is the best way to capture the case of plastic pollution. There are many ways, for example, to reuse discarded plastic bottles, apart from mechanical recycling.
It's not just plastics that can be recycled. Aluminium cans can be recycled. Glass bottles can also be recycled. And that would also, reduce the amount of resources being taken up from the environment. We need to make sure that it does not even end up in the dustbin. It must not end up in the ocean.
Reports by the United Nations Environment Programme shows that Nigeria, with an estimated 32 million tons of solid waste generated annually, is among the top 20 nations that contribute 83% of the total volume of land-based plastic waste globally. How can the nation's circular economy benefit from the conversion of this huge solid waste?
Nigeria is on course if we decide to join the rest of the world in doing this transition. But this transition, it has to be just for it to be impactful. So we need a lot of education of Nigerians on what the initiative is all about. Millions of people employed in the plastics industry.
Key players believe adoption of methodology for total recycling of plastic will not only add to the nation's economic growth, but also reduce plastic pollution while encouraging environmental protection. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And to further discuss plastic waste management using circular economy, I have with me Dr. Femi Adegoke, President, Lagos State Recyclers Association. Thank you for joining us on Panorama.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now, in layman's term, and for the benefit of our viewer, what is circular economy? Let's start from there.
Okay, thank you very much. So, in layman terms, circular economy is moving away from the old ways of doing things. You take the natural resources either from the ground or from the trees, like for example paper. You take paper is made from pulp, from trees, and then you use it. After using it, you dump it. You don't make use of that end product anymore. Yeah. But also like plastic is made from petrochemicals. So now you generate the plastic, it's durable, you can use it, you can carry it, but at the end of consumption, you discard the plastic. That is what we call linear economy. That's what we're used to. That's what is prevalent now, presently. Take, make, and dispose. But what circular economy is talking about is to reduce, first, phase out waste, even from the design state of the product. Can we phase out waste? After that, can we minimize our consumption? After that, okay, you have used this material, can you keep it in use for as long as much rather than just dumping it? So that is circular economy in layman terms.
Okay, so now we know that Nigeria is the second largest producer of plastic pollution in the world. All right, now tell us in practical terms how plastic waste, right from the bin to the last product, could generate income using circular economy.
Okay, thank you very much. Like in one of the reports that it's clearly stated, and that's our slogan. It is not waste until it is completely wasted. So, for plastic waste, for plastic resource, even from the design, like I said, the manufacturers need to design the plastic that is reusable, that is recyclable, that is recoverable, and that will keep the loop, we close the loop. For example, your soda bottle or bottled water, after the consumption of the water, you need not to trash it. You can actually keep it, and then you get value for it. There are recyclers in Lagos and all over the country. Almost everywhere in the country, you can get value for it. And innovation is driving it. In Abuja, we have one of our recyclers has installed a reverse vending machine that was locally produced in Nigeria. That you can actually go there, put your plastic into the vending machine, and you get a ticket where you can go and claim money, value for it. So there is need for reorientation of the people, behavioral and attitudinal change. And once the people get this, they know that they can get value for it. And let me quickly add, for a very long time, we have maligned the informal sector. We call them many derogatory names. But we forget that these people are actually making a living from it. And this must start from the home front, from the community. Sorting and segregating our waste at source will give us value.
Okay, now trying to get people to gather these plastics and take to the recyclers, it's a heinous tax. You must agree. You actually said that about 1 million people are involved in recycling. But take a look at the population of Nigeria. That is a far cry. So we need more people. And I know of some people who are used to picking the plastics, and they were bagging it. And at the end of the day, they got discouraged because they said what they are being paid does not amount to anything. Do you think this will encourage people to go more into that business?
Okay, yes. I'll give a quick historical background. When I returned to Nigeria 12 years ago, I went into plastic recycling. And the value then, we were even buying 10 naira per kilogram. And because there was no much awareness. And then when we aggregate, I was a collector and an aggregator at that time, and then we aggregate and sell to the off-takers, we were selling at 25 naira. But 10 years down the line, collectors get over 300 naira per kilogram. So the awareness, the demand and the supply,
it's increasing.
Yeah, is increasing. And the value that people get now is way more. I understand people will tell you there's inflation and all of that, but there has been resurgence in the industry. There's been more investment, both from the manufacturers, which is the extended producer's responsibility, and the private sector, private investors. We're not where we want to be, but there has been progress. So the value is increasing.
All right. Now, so with the federal government, focusing on this circular economy in plastic waste management, how can recyclers now come in? More people like yourself. Okay,
well, the National Plastic Action Partnership, through the whole process, we were involved because NPAP was a multi-stakeholders engagement, and the recyclers across the country, manufacturers, bottlers, government agencies, consumers, were all involved in developing this roadmap. And that's why the implementation of it is on all of us as well. It has to start from home, a segregation of your waste at source, not just plastic, but if you separate your plastic from your food waste, from your organic waste, you can actually get value for all of them in different waste streams. A lot of people don't understand that even the aluminum can has more value than the plastic. But we have challenge with the plastic. The challenge we have in Nigeria is not actually the plastic or the aluminum can or the organic waste. It is waste management challenge.
Okay.
And if we start to segregate our waste as source, we would have first laid the right foundation for tackling the waste management challenge.
Okay, so trying to aggregate the waste. Now, where does enlightenment campaign come in here? Do recyclers work with the National Orientation Agency? Is there this awareness on the part of every Nigerian concerning waste? Let's start from there.
Yeah, that is one of the challenges, but there is solution. It's not a challenge without solution. And the solution is the goal 17 of the Sustainable Development Goal, which is partnership. We in the industry with government agencies need to do more when it comes to partnership in raising awareness. The NOA, National Orientation Agency, needs to come on board. We've been partnering with the National Standard Organization and SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria, in standardizing the plastic recycling, that's rPET, recycled PET, for food grade plastic. So more of partnership in reorientation of our people, creating awareness, behavioral and attitudinal and cultural change. We need to have a cultural shift towards our waste. We need to understand that our waste is our resource. And like every other resource, it has a value. And we can unlock that value through recycling and circular economy.
Okay, now, so how could circular economy in plastic management create jobs, for Nigerians? Let's say someone out there now watching us with a little capital and wants to earn a living this way.
Yeah, there is what we call the value chain in plastic recycling or plastic circular economy. We're from the consumer to the collector to the aggregator, processors, manufacturers, and it keeps on like that, because after the manufacturer, it goes back to the consumer. From the consumer, it goes back to the collector. So it is for who is interested and wants to be part of it to identify your area of passion. You want to be a collector, you want to be an aggregator, and this is what and there are resources that you need. If it's just small resources, you can start as a collector, and as you go on, you can move to the next value chain as well.
So in other words, Nigeria can greatly benefit from plastic waste management.
Yes, sustainable, proper plastic waste management, it will help Nigeria, assist Nigeria to diversify our economy, circular economy, create millions of jobs, because currently there are millions of jobs that have been created, but informally, we're not capturing them, and also the formal sector. So we need not to work in silos. We must work together to move the country forward.
Thank you very much, Dr. Femi Idowu-Adegoke, for your thoughts on plastic waste management and the circular economy. All right, it's time for us to take sports, and Olumide Guntola is our guide.
Following the emergence of Manchester City's Rodri as winner of the Ballon d'Or, Nigerian international and Atlanta striker Ademola Lookman looks set for the CAF African Footballer of the Year 2024 after he emerged as the 14th overall best player of the 2024 Ballon d'Or rankings at a ceremony organized by the French magazine France Football in collaboration with UEFA. Lookman's position makes him the highest-ranked African player on this year's prestigious list.
That as further increases the chances of Ademola Lookman winning the next African Player of the Year. He has done very well for his club Atalanta, helping them to Europa Cup or triumph, and also helping Nigeria to second place in Africa.
With all the goals, with all the individual performances of Vinicius Junior, I was actually expecting nothing less than him getting the Ballon d'Or trophy yesterday, but I was surprised that the trophy had to go to Rodri.
I can say confidently that Rodri is actually the best, because Rodri won the best player in Europe as ahead of this Vinicius Bellingham.
In female football, Nigeria's Super Falcons continue their rebuilding process following a below-par performance at the 2024 Women's Olympic Football Tournament, with the second leg match of the international friendlies against the Green Ladies of Algeria. Nigeria won the first leg 2-0 in Ogun State on Saturday and are back at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Lagos, for the return leg slated for 2 p.m. Tuesday. In tennis, home favourite Hugo Humbert maintained his impressive record on indoor hard courts in France at the Rolex Paris Masters, where he defeated American Brandon Nakashima 6-3, 4-6, 6-4. The Frenchman has won his past 9 matches on French indoor courts, having lifted trophies in Metz in 2023 and in Marseille in February. With sports updates, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And that's Panorama came to you from Lagos Network Center of the NTA. Thank you for spending time with us. I am Adeola Komiakeri. Enjoy the rest of your day.